Hello everybody, welcome to the demo of CSE 564 visualization final project by Rohan Kumar. So today I'm going to be talking about mental health in tech, a survey that was conducted in 2014 and has been going on ever since. And I'm going to take that data set and I'm going to trying to analyze uh, the kind of patterns that people have observed and try to get some insights on how it can actually be helpful. So given that this is the mental health awareness month, I think it's kind of very crucial. It is one of the topics that is least talked about today, and let's get into the demo and see how helpful can our visualization get to identify what patterns and what conditions do people go through and how we can kind of use this to help people. So let me start by showing the data set that I've taken. I've taken the mental health and tech survey data set from Kaggle over here. So this has about 27 dimensions, columns of data, and I've performed different dimensionality reduction techniques to reduce that into the only most crucial ones and required ones for our visualization. So this is the dashboard. Basically, I'm going to kind of show the visualization of the age group of people that actually have some difficulties or are going through some situations and need help with their mental health, and the gender. And there are a few other columns, as you can see on the right side, which we can kind of use it to compare it with the others. And this is a MDS plot to kind of visualize the entire 25 dimensions that we have into a 2D plot to see how much data variance we have. Obviously, from this, we get to know that this is not something that's a very common thing for everyone, and every individual is unique, and everyone is going to have their own reasons or their own environment and conditions because of which things affect them. That's how humans are. Uh, if we kind of start finding clusters among them, so you can in an MDS plot you can kind of say that these data points are very similar, and uh, you can kind of find the root cause of it. But this topic is something that's not so straightforward and not so simple that you will actually find different clusters of data. We will go through that visualization and find out that how varied the data is, how unique people are. So let's start with the age group. As you can see that a lot of age group between the 20s to 30s are the ones who are affected the most, and that kind of goes on reducing as you grow older. Uh, I'm not. This is again specifically for people who are working in the tech industry, and uh, depends on how much work pressure they have or how is their work environment, and how much does it affect. I think seeing this, we can clearly say that people in that mid 20s to mid 30s are the ones who have a lot of work pressure and who go through a lot. And from our survey, this is the ratio of people who have actually been going through these conditions. And let's get into some of the other dimensions or other attributes that we have. So this says that how easy it is for you to take a medical leave for mental health conditions. I mean, it's kind of, it gets awkward for some people to tell that I'm not feeling well mentally and I want to take a leave. So it becomes hard for people to take a leave based on that. And when you're already not in a very good state, when you try to take a when you have to go and work and you don't get to take a leave, it just piles up in your head and things become more difficult. So probably when you see on a male, it's somewhat easy to very easy to becomes very difficult for a general male to take leave for a particular uh, condition. Uh, so and we can kind of see for a male, since we have filtered out on in male data entirely, we can kind of try and analyze other attributes like the number of employees. So if the organization that the person is working in has about 6 to 25 employees, it's still kind of uh, these are the kind of people who have had it versus a 26 to 100, and slowly it kind of you see the variations, and you can check about are you willing to discuss this. So some people are actually willing to discuss, and here we can see that yes, a lot of people are willing to discuss it with their direct supervisors versus some people are saying no, okay to discuss with some of my supervisors, and some of them I'm not really comfortable versus no. And some of the other attributes, like does your employer provide you medical healthcare options, and a lot of people have told no. And similarly, do you have remote work option, and even that it says kind of no. So we'll just go through the other features of the dashboard as well. So this is a reset button which will kind of reset the entire dashboard. Since we saw the data specifically for a male, now we can filter on female data, and we can see that how things change from a male to a female. So remote work kind of remains the same between a male to a female. So uh, that's a good thing that the employers are not kind of being partial towards one of the genders, versus if you say take leave, so you can kind of see that it's somewhat easier and then somewhat difficult versus very easy, very difficult, which was opposed to how it was for a male. And the number of employees also, when there are a lot of employees in the organization, it becomes kind of intimidating or something for a female. And uh, generally the people that we have observed in this particular survey or in the data set that we have shows that trend, uh, versus how comfortable are they to talk with their supervisors. We saw that a lot of male were really comfortable to talk to their supervisors, versus it's kind of 50-50 between a yes and no when it comes to females. So we try to see this trend, and we can kind of come up with solutions that why is it not being so approachable, why are females not that it's not being easy to approach to their direct supervisors and find out. I'll reset that. And one other thing is, this data we have is from across the world. So we whatever we saw was mainly from all over the world, and how the trends are. We can narrow it down to only the United States and observe the data, and within the United States as well, we can narrow it down to a different state, and we can see what happens in that particular state. Like for California, you can see that this is the age group with which generally people go through a lot of mental health difficulties, versus uh, say we pick New York. And in New York, I think not a lot of younger people versus not a lot of older people definitely go through too much difficulties. It's mainly in their mid 20s to 30s. And one good thing that I would like to show is when I say something like a state like California, and I pick uh, I filter on female, and I can see that females are like, some of them are ready to discuss, versus some say no while some say yes, versus when I actually pick this out for uh, say a different state like Texas, and I filter it on female, you see a trend like no, not a lot of people in Texas, are not a lot of females in Texas are that open to talking to their supervisors about their mental health. So I think this is something we can kind of analyze between different states and see how a state is doing good and what a different state can learn from them, and pick that out, versus say if we kind of go back to the entire world and just pick how many of them are okay to discuss with their supervisors, and we can actually we can go it in the other way around to see that okay, a lot of male are open to discuss with their supervisors versus not a lot of females are open, versus you can kind of see a mental versus physical health basically says that how much seriously does the employer take a mental health condition as much as they do take the physical health conditions. Uh, Similarly, we have given different options of filtering out based on something that how much benefits are available, and in how much benefits does an employer provide, and based on that how much do we see. So as benefits kind of increases, we observe that the age group has kind of reduced towards the end. The more benefits older people get, the more relaxed they are. So these are some of the insights that people can make out of this, and probably start providing more benefits to even more reduce in the older age, and try to focus on what the younger age or the middle age group people need, and help them out with improving their mental health conditions. Uh, so the last thing I would probably want to talk about is the MDS plot. As you can see, that s- sin you can't really find a specific cluster in this, because varying people are having their own mindset, and every person is kind of unique, and hence data changes. So this let me reset it, and this is the entire world, how the MDS plot is. You can see that it's kind of varied upon, while you can find out that there are like certain group of people who have some similarities, versus a person over here versus a person over here have been having conditions for completely various reasons. So that if we convert it to a United States, you can actually see how it is, versus if you scale it down to a specific state. You can see that a lot of people are very similar in California versus probably say Washington. You can see that things are a little more varied than so the way people are kind of varies, and that's how you can. This is a very crucial topic where it's not really easily uh, you cannot really easily pinpoint to find the root cause, saying that okay, this is the specific reason uh, why people are going through this condition, since everyone is different. So but over here with our visualization, with our dashboard, we can kind of make sense of general trends of how it is, like with gender, with age group. I mean, these are some of the things that really matter, and that really kind of stand out to. You can kind of bring in some generalization and say that okay, if this was something that we took action upon, this might really be helpful. Okay, thank you very much.